I am exhausted. I've never made anything like The Point of East Blue before. 12 parts, a little shy of 5 hours worth of content. So many late nights recording, editing, writing, animating. I've streamlined my chapter reviews to the point where I can rush one out in about an hour or so, though they're certainly made for listening, not watching. For comparison, if I think about what may have been my fastest part, Rogue Town, it took me a minimum of about 16 hours. I managed to blast out most of the editing within a single day, but that was a full Saturday of editing, like 8 AM to 10 PM with some breaks. Mind you, I'm not a full-time creator of content. YouTube is just a hobby. I have a full-time job, I have a wife, a cat, and various other responsibilities. I'll finish my work, maybe do a bit of work on a video, then I'll cook dinner, spend some time with my honey, then spend most of the rest of my evening continuing on with video work. That is, if I can. I may have something else on, things I've promised to do, so on and so forth. Not to say that making the series wasn't really fulfilling and enjoyable. There were some frustrations thrown in there, but I don't regret making the series for a single second. I love seeing the familiar names popping up in the comments, and I've discovered how much I enjoy making things and putting them out there. But I am certainly in need of a break. So, hence the title of the video, 2W, 5M, or 2 weeks, 5 months. This is the start of my training arc. You know, my version of 3D, 2Y. Yes, I know I'm several arcs too early for a time skip, but much like how the Straw Hats weren't ready for the New World, I don't think I'm ready for the Grand Line, so I need to improve my skills and prepare to make the journey less hectic than the one that came before. This video will go through the broad strokes of my next few months and what I plan to accomplish, so let me go through my goals for the following 5 months, as well as my overarching goals. Pretty reminiscent of my videos before I got into One Piece content. In the background, I'll play some B-roll I recorded making a couple of the shots from the finale animation. 5 months means 4 checkpoints, so I'll lock them in now. First checkpoint, setting up my new computer and configuring Linux. With help from my friends, my wife, my family, and a long-term savings goal, I've saved up enough and purchased myself a new computer. And as proof of how busy I've been, it's been sitting in its box for the last 3 months. Nugget has been using it as the most expensive seat in the house. After much consideration, even though I've used Windows machines for most of my life, including my last computer which I built over 8 years ago, I'm going to make the switch to Linux. This means I need to set things up, and I've never set up a Linux computer before. I've set up Linux servers, but not computers, and I want to do it right. Then comes the next step of transferring everything over, setting up all the programs I need, mainly Krita, DaVinci Resolve, OBS, and more. In this first period, I'm going to take it a little bit more easy. I'm celebrating my 1-year wedding anniversary, and that's why I'm not setting the goal too high for this first checkpoint. Second checkpoint, finally doing the channel visual update. I've mentioned it for ages, but I'm long overdue for a visual update to my channel. I'm using the same logo and banner that I made when I first made this channel years ago. So I want a new banner and a new icon. They are long overdue. I'm also going to create and rig up a new VTuber model. I have 2 very janky models, my cute blob, which is alright, and my very janky human form. I think, at least for the near future, I'm going to ditch my human form and go all in on my blobby physique. I'll update the design to be more expressive, try and make it more visually close to my wedding video blob, and give it design elements from the One Piece series. I really want to make it really nice too, add a bunch of features, etc, etc. But why do I want to make a new VTuber model? Because I want to start streaming again. To put it bluntly, the Point of East Blue took up so much time I couldn't actually find the time to stream, and while I probably could have streamed my animating process, I wanted to keep it a surprise. I also really want to do some gaming. Legitimately, I haven't had a serious gaming session in so many months. I managed to do a couple of Hearthstone Battlegrounds rounds and a very short game of other things here and there, but there are so many games that have been sitting around waiting for me to play them, and frankly, I want a game. I haven't even played Elden Ring yet. No, not the DLC, the game itself. Dark Souls 2 was one of my most enjoyable Soulsborne experiences, not because I think it's the best game, Bloodborne takes that trophy in my opinion, but because streaming it and having people join me made it so much more enjoyable. So I want to stream all of Elden Ring, first time playthrough with DLC installed, all bosses, with a death counter, though I will stream drawing and animating stuff as well. Then we reach the third checkpoint. I'll finally release the Issue with One Piece live action part 2, title pending. It has always been my plan to release a part 2 after the completion of The Point of East Blue, and I think I've got a very solid grounding to go through and tackle things that I skipped over in that first video, and I'll, of course, cover the community feedback I got in the first part. It may be nearly a year since the first part, but better late than never. Since that video will be a fair bit of effort, I won't have any other goals for this month. Then the fourth checkpoint will be the release of the Point of East Blue compilation. I was considering releasing it earlier, but I think I want to do it closer to the start of the release of my exploration into the Alabaster Saga. I want to make it a bit more than just throwing all the parts together. For some of the earlier parts, I want to rebalance the audio, make it all consistent. There was a comment on one of the earlier parts mentioning that the music was a bit too loud when compared to the vocal audio. Then there's figuring out how to cut the different parts together, which intros I have to keep, outros to, do I cut the title cards, and so on. There's a part of me that's considering touching up some of the animations, but as I go back and forth in my head, I think it's important to leave it as it currently is. As janky as the animation is at times, it was the best I could do with the amount of time that I had. If I make it better, I don't think it would serve an accurate showing of my own journey to improve myself. I think some of the coolest stuff is seeing how artists and animators improve over time, and if I find that stuff inspiring, then I shouldn't obscure my own journey. By this point, I should have some things ready for the next series, so I think putting a bit of a teaser could be a fun idea at the end of that video. Then finally, on the 23rd of February, for me, maybe 22nd for other countries, the release of the something Alabaster. Alright, I need to figure this out. I'm not 100% behind calling it The Point of Alabaster. The whole reason for the Point of title was because I've seen people saying that it's fine to skip the East Blue. Only a madman would say to skip the Alabaster Saga. I've been thinking about this title for a while, as well as the series. The main themes of Alabaster are inherited will, what it means to be a leader, as well as introducing the Grand Line. I think the focus of the title should be on the introducing the Grand Line bit. We start seeing a lot more devil fruits, we see zones for the first time, we meet the giants, we get a proper introduction to the warlords, the power and the influence that they have and the subterfuge they perform. We learn about Roger being a D, we learn about the poneglyphs, we see how all the islands have completely different weather and ecosystems. There's a whole lot of stuff that's incredibly important. A series title needs to be snappy too. The Point of East Blue is sharp, to the point, and the compilation title can be The Complete Point of East Blue. It also helps me transition to it in the script. So let me rattle off some titles. Writing things out helps me think. The Grand Introduction of Alabaster. It's got the Grand for Grand Line, it mentions the intro and has Alabaster. The Leadership of Alabaster. It's a dual meaning. The Alabaster Saga takes the lead in the Grand Line and solidifies the themes and concepts unique to the Grand Line. It also refers to the theme of leadership in the saga. But it does make it sound like I'm talking about the Alabaster royal family. Or maybe I switch it around. Alabaster's Saga of Introductions, Alabaster's Grand Entrance. Then again, now that I think about it, it's not the Alabaster Saga technically, it's the Baroque Works Saga. So, should the titles be How Baroque Works? I kind of like this one, I'm a fan of that sort of wordplay, but it probably needs something more, maybe The Grand Line, How Baroque Works. Or The Importance of Baroque Works. It's a little dry, though that may be the easiest option. I was thinking of using The Importance of Skypiea as the next series title, but I don't want two seasons to have titles that are too similar, though I was also thinking something like Why You Can't Skip Skypiea. Please leave me suggestions in the comments down below or on my Discord linked in the description. But yes, it seems like a long time in the future, the 23rd of February, but there are two reasons for that. First, and most inconveniently, I'll be traveling to China for Chinese New Year. I wanted to start the series in January, but that would be a lot of pressure to release a part and then disappear for a few weeks, which would likely mess up any sort of schedule I put in place, so February it is. Second reason is that I'm not just going to do the things I outlined in my checkpoints. I will be preparing for my Season 2, creating assets, writing scripts, doing a wide variety of things to contribute to making my examination of the Baroque Works Saga as good as I can make it. I want to front-load as much of the work as I can, so hopefully I won't need those occasional weeks off when I release the next series. I'll be more open with my production process, streaming, creating assets and other things on probably Twitch. I will also try and keep up the interactivity, so join my Discord. Both links will be in the description. I've already started sharing some of the stuff I've been working on in the Discord if you want to get an early peek. Once again, thank you for all the support so far, and I thank you for sticking with me as I have my training arc. I will post videos, but generally they're going to be a bit shorter. Next video, I'm going to reflect on the point of East Blue, and take a serious look at what I think was good, what can be improved, and what I plan to do for Alabaster. I'd love your feedback on that video as well. And remember, it's not I attempt new things, it's we attempt new things. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fruitful day.